All right, everybody. This is Ferny Ceballos. Welcome to your daily dose of awesome. Your live 15 minutes of daily motivation, inspiration, and education, so you can get your day started right. Today's guest is Mr. Ray Higdon. How you doing, brother?
Hey, what's happening, man?
I'm doing awesome, man. It's an interesting day after last night. Were you doing anything last
Why, what
night?
happened?
Yeah. Didn't the Cubs win? Is that what happened?
Yeah, World Series.
Yeah, yeah.
Go Cubbies.
Well, it's a post election night, and I got a little bit of sleep, but I'm sure most of the country is the same as well. So welcome to Daily Dose of Awesome, and here we, our topic today is going to be on branding, blogging, and essentially creating a new way for you as network marketers. And I have no one more qualified to teach you guys that than the awesome Ray Higdon, eight-figure earner, eight-figure producer in the online space, massive network marketer, now retired and focused purely on training others and adding value to people's lives. So I'm going to hand it over to Ray in just a minute. But first and foremost, I want to introduce myself for anyone that does not know who I am or who we are. My name is Ferny Ceballos. I'm a lead generation online marketing expert specializing in helping home business owners. That includes network marketers, direct sellers, affiliate marketers, multiply their incomes using the internet. Now, I built my first six-figure network marketing business within a couple years of discovering the information we teach here at Elite Marketing Pro. And over the past 10 years, I've been responsible for over $11 million in gross income into my home businesses, and literally hundreds of millions of dollars more for the incomes of our clients and students that we've mentored here at Elite Marketing Pro. So this stuff definitely works, and actually Ray is going to be talking about how that actually works in the network marketing space. Now, if you're new to our training, I highly recommend you subscribe to our free attraction marketing online recruiting bootcamp. It's available through the link in the description above this video. Once we're done here, you'll be able to log on and get a 10-part video course on how it is we actually do attraction marketing in the network marketing space. That means basically generating leads and prospects for your business online. So that you logged on Facebook. Good job, guy. And I also recommend you subscribe to our fan page. And on this video, if you're watching it on your mobile device, on the top right corner, you can click, and there's a little ellipsis symbol that shows up. You'll be able to open a menu that allows you to like our fan page and turn on notifications, so that in the future you'll be notified every time we go live. This is how we deliver our most impactful free training every single day, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern. Now, if you're watching this on your desktop, you can simply click above on our logo or in the name, right above the description. Takes you to our fan page. Like our fan page, that'll unlock all our content. And then on that same like button, there's a pull-down menu where you can turn on notifications and make sure you get notified via phone every time we go live, or you can get notified every time there's a new video on our fan page. With that said, brother, how you doing, Mr. Higdon?
Doing well, doing well.
All right. Well, crazy election night. Now that that's over, we can return to our normal lives. But I did have one question for you about the election itself.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Do it.
All right. So, well, it's actually not that big of a deal, because all right. So you and I have talked politics a little bit, and actually, let me first make sure we are live. Did you see us on our fan page?
Yes, I'm looking at you right now.
Oh, okay. Am I good looking?
Oh, unbelievable. I mean, every time I see you, more handsome than before.
Oh, I see. All right. So okay. So you and I have talked politics a little bit, not a lot. It's not a topic of discussion we bring up a lot. I know you weren't a big fan of our last president. However, with that said, during his presidency, you managed to create a massive business, and
Sure.
so you essentially thrived despite whatever your politics were. You managed to thrive. Can you speak a little bit on how it is you do that, and really what really is going to matter in people's personal economy?
Yeah, for sure. It, my mode of operations isn't going to damper based on if or actually heighten. It's not going to damper or heighten based on who's in the White House. My health insurance went up, taxes went up, but whatever, it's like, these things happen, whether you like them or not, it's not that big of a deal. So, if I just, in any career that I've been in, I've learned the game of what works and played the game. And I'll give you kind of a weird example, but just to kind of, use this. So when I wanted to go into computers, right, and this was a long time ago, this was probably when I was 19, and I started working for Sony. And Sony had these different tiers, and so they put me at the very first tier because I didn't know anything. And they told us, they said, hey, your job is to keep your average calls less than 5 minutes, and if you get into a technical issue you can't solve, it needs to go to tier 1, and then if they can't solve it, tier 2. And so I'm like, okay, I got it. And so that's what I did. I played the game and I nailed it. Now, some of the people that came in with my class, with my hiring class, they felt slighted that they were put at the lowest position. So they wanted to show how smart they were. And so their average call length might be 10, 11 minutes and they would actually solve way more problems than I did. Me, I understood the game. I'm like, 5 minutes, you got it, right? So I just followed the game. And so being an entrepreneur is a game, and you need to understand, what are you playing for? 2, how do you attract other players, and what type of players do you want to attract to you? And what are the government regulations, and what are the different things, that are part of the game that you have to abide by, and you play the game. And, so that's, wishing for something to be different, wishing for, whatever, something that isn't there, is wishing for a hand that you weren't dealt, and you can never play that hand. So play the hand you were dealt, and whether you like the choice in presidency now or not, what does that have to do with you providing value to a marketplace and you becoming more valuable as a person and more educated as a person? Makes no difference. So, just play the game.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I mean, I pretty much kind of, figured what you were going to answer, and essentially what we all answer. I mean, if you're a conservative mind and have been successful over the past, 8 years, then really you just took hold took responsibility for your life, didn't depend on anyone in government to make things happen. And if you're a liberal mind, okay, then you got what you want, but it still has no effect on your personal economy if you allow it to. And I totally agree with that, man. So let's talk, putting the election behind us aside, let's talk about, you started as a traditional networker. A lot of people in our community know your story, and they love your story, and they love you. But so you started as a traditional networker, started crushing it as a traditional networker, but you began looking for a different way, or a better way, as you put it in a recent post that we're going to publish on our blog soon. Can you describe, what is it that motivated you to kind of find that better way, and what was that better way, and how is it different, better, more leverage, or whatever, however you want to describe it? How is it different, and what advantage did it give you to find that better way?
Yeah, and it's interesting in that I'm very grateful that I had different business experiences prior to being in network marketing. A lot of times people go from, employee, to network marketing, which is, the most, the highest percentage of people go from being an employee, clocking in, being told exactly precisely what to do, and then they go into network marketing, which is, can be the Wild West. And so, I was fortunate in that I had been involved in real estate, so, commission-based, had to go and hustle to eat, and, had to go and do those, do that kind of thing. And when you're in any profession, any real estate, just name it, any profession, and you're not an employee, but you're the owner or the entrepreneur, you're taught marketing. So, chiropractors are taught marketing. How do they go get clients? Realtors are taught marketing. Everyone's taught marketing. Network marketers typically aren't. They're not taught marketing. They're taught stick to your warm market, talk to the people that you know, and maybe, just maybe, a small percentage of companies will teach you how to go and prospect strangers. Even fewer will tell you how to cold call. And so I was doing what I was being told, but I had been trained to at least understand a little bit of marketing in my previous business experiences, and I'd had the benefit of doing something, whether it was an ad in a newspaper or a radio ad or a flyer or something, and having someone respond to it. And that's just a cooler thing than me going and beating the bushes of trying to find someone that wants to sell their house or buy a property or something like that. And so when I got serious, I should say, because I had been in network marketing, but I'd failed in a bunch of different companies, and don't get hung up on the word fail. I just basically had learned some, but just hadn't created anything that was ongoing, and didn't create anything that was lasting. And so when I got serious about network marketing, which was in 2009, I didn't have my bearings on how to market myself as a network marketer, because I had been marketing myself as a real estate person, and not to the extent that we understand now, but I was at least at some point doing, in some degree, I was marketing myself as a real estate person. And so, I knew that the key, and some people, I guess, don't understand this, but for you to become a top earner in a network marketing company, it's going to come down to how many eyeballs did you get on the presentation, period. Whether it's marketing, prospecting, warm market, cold market, online, offline, doesn't matter. You to be a top earner, it is number of eyeballs on a presentation. So I knew that. So when I wasn't weaponized to use marketing to drive leads to me, I did what I could, which was all the traditional stuff. So I bought genealogy leads, which are just terrible. I ran an ad in Home Business Mag once. This was a little bit later, and just pretty rough leads, and cold called realtors. I did reach out to my warm market and reach out to them. And I don't bash any of these strategies, by the way. I just wanted a better way, and I believed that there was a way, and I wasn't sure when I first started that I could put something online to attract people to me and talk with someone who actually wanted to talk to me, and versus all these other leads that I had been talking to that really didn't. And so I just believed in that. And so when you believe something, you find proof of its existence. Okay, very similar to the election, right? No, right. The supporters over here believe a certain thing about their candidate, and the supporters over here believe a certain thing about their candidate, and both believe different things. So I believed that there was a way. So I started hunting and locating things that would help back that up. So one of the very, very early resources that I got my hands on was magnetic sponsoring, and it was awesome. I'm like, man, this makes so much sense, because it was a deeper understanding of marketing than I had prior to that, and I just realized that what, I'm just gonna just like the Steve Martin quote, I'm gonna be so good they can't ignore me. I didn't know anybody. I went to the first No Excuses, and I knew a couple of people that were speaking on stage, but for the most part, nobody knew me there, and I didn't know very many people. But that was a full year later, after I got serious about network marketing. And so I just believe that there was an easier way, or not necessarily easier. That's a dangerous word. There was a way that I would enjoy more. And I enjoy talking to people that are leads that I've generated and actually want to talk to me, versus just the hustle and grind of cold calling. Does that answer your question? I hope it does.
Yeah, man. That's actually, you mentioned magnetic sponsoring, just so people know that that's essentially what Elite Marketing Pro was called before it rebranded.
Right.
That's back in 2005, and in fact, that's how I started in this industry. I was a customer, just like you were, of this system of magnetic sponsoring, and for the first time in my life, I felt like I was being spoken to like an adult. like I was being given a process to follow as opposed to being hyped up and go get them and slapped on the ass and go run outside and find some people. And so that's what magnetic sponsoring did for me, and we continue that tradition through Attraction Marketing Formula, which, by the way, you can get through the link in the description.
Totally, and it's awesome, by the way. Traction Marketing Formula, awesome. I love that you said that, Ferny. By the way, treated like an adult. Like, imagine going to a realtor convention and the guy gets up there and says, "You guys can do it. Go get them," and doesn't like give you tactical or strategic or any kind of advice. Just go hammer it. And so we got to get people. I saw you talking about that unfortunate John Oliver video, but we got to get people thinking that this is an actual business, that this is a profession and they are a business owner. We got to get people thinking that way. This is not a lotto ticket. It's not it's just not, treat it more professionally like every other career does.
And so let's talk about the strategies that you use, because your chosen traffic or just exposure method was blogging. And so how did you kind of get going with blogging? What was your fundamental strategy with blogging? And there's a question that somebody had, which is pertinent to this. How did you scale? How did you have a massive business now, a training business, and you since retired from network marketing, or otherwise you'd still be crushing it there too. But for those of you who want to kind of follow on your path, what was that strategy, and how did you ultimately scale your business?
Sure. So first question, I chose blogging because, to me, I'm a long-term thinker, and I think I've been forced to be a long-term thinker because I've been short-term thinker in the past, and it's nailed me. So, like with with real estate investing, even though I definitely had some long-term thinking processes in there, but there's been different things in my life that have kind of led me to. I'm strangely not interested in whammo, big, huge, some kind of result quickly. I'm like more interested in something that, okay, what's something I can build that'll last? And so I looked at blogging. So if you compare the different forms of marketing, so you have pay-per-click, obviously, and this is how I was thinking. Now, I no longer think that all of these things are separate and you should just do one and not do any of these other things. There's ways to incorporate all of these different things. But I looked at pay-per-click. So one, I was broke. I was in personal foreclosure, being chased by bill collectors. I don't have money to test with for sure, and I'm not detail-oriented enough to test and track, to split test, to know what kind of software to use, and I'm not good with Excel or any of that stuff. All the things I felt you had to have if you were going to be a pay-per-click person, and the instant you turn that ad off, you turn off all your results. I looked at email marketing because some people, they don't have a blog. They just email market out and have a sales page somewhere and whatever else. And, I just looked at that and I'm like, well, when's the last time you opened up an email from a year ago and actually bought something from it? Pretty rare. I looked at blogging as this is something that I'll put out there. It'll last forever. And I can maybe I'll get some traction the more of these that I do. So I saw it as me kind of building a house, right? And I'm laying these bricks of assets in my online little empire. And the truth is, I get affiliate checks, leads from blog posts that are 5 or 6 years old now. So the theory I had in 2009 of, hey, if I just keep blogging, keep putting value out there, keep being so good they can't ignore me and that sort of thing, it should work out, and and that has. And I'll tell you that us producing free content is what has built our business. And there's a phrase that I originally heard from Jason Fried, who's one of the co-founders of Basecamp, and he says, "Out-teach your competition." That's like the name of the game. I'm like, I think like a media company, just like Elite Marketing Pro. You guys clearly operate that way because you're pumping out value on a daily basis because your target market is hungry for education every single day, not just Wednesday, not just Monday, but they're hungry every single day. They want to show up and be served. They're coming with an empty plate throw some meat on it. And so, we provide value, every single day. Almost 5,000 blog posts, 950 podcasts, and a bunch of other stuff. And so that was just my thought process. As far as scaling, so I would argue that we haven't even scratched the surface of scaling. There's scaling is, how can you, I think some people think scaling is just increasing your ad budget, right? And that's not, I don't consider that scaling. I consider scaling is you have business divisions that have nothing to do with your personal time in any way, shape, or form. And so the way that we are in the process of scaling, because I still don't consider us scaled, to be honest, is you start, if you want to grow your business, and this is a quote from Vern Harnish from Gazelles, who's a scaling expert. He says, if you want to grow your business, you outsource your weaknesses. Okay, done. I did that. So once I started making money, it was probably at first I was doing everything with my business, generating the lead, making the call, everything. And then probably 2010, I was doing customer support. So, I'm emailing, have you turned off your computer and back on, because their audio wasn't working, right? So I was doing every single thing. And probably late 2010, I brought someone on to help outsource my weakness. And so my weakness was, being detail-oriented, doing any kind of technology stuff, because I'm just not that great at technology. And so I started doing that. Well, true scaling is outsourcing your strength. So outsourcing my strength would be certifying speakers, having events run. I'm not even there. I've now, for 7 years, I've written every single blog post, published every blog post, emailed out every blog post. Now that process is being done with my content and with my current kind of overview. That's not being done by somebody else, but it is my content, and they're using my my wording and things like that. So scaling is outsourcing your strengths, which is something that I'm not aware I'm not aware anyone in the network marketing profession I would view as having scaled that I can think of, right, including trainers. You'll see over the next 18 months, you'll see us grow into something that hasn't been done, but and that will be scaling. We're currently not there, but I don't think anyone is there in our profession.
Got it. Interesting thing you said about the outsourcing your strengths. I actually don't write any of my blog posts anymore. What I do is essentially I do a video, and then somebody in our team converts that video into an awesome blog post, and I just kind of go, okay, that looks good.
Exactly what we're doing now.
Yeah.
I didn't do it for 7 years, but we're doing it now.
And it's great because literally creating a video just like we're doing now. Somebody can turn what we're doing now into a blog post, and it only took us 15-20 minutes. But you got to get there. It's not something you start with, and I think people. I think people meant scaling how do you go from say 100 6-figure income to 7-figure income, but I think ultimately it's I don't think you did anything different than what you were doing at 6 figures than you did when you hit 7 figures. You just were kind of churning and consistent. Is that about right, or is there a little magic thing you did?
Well, if and it depends what you mean, because some people if you're solely, I want to build my network marketing business and become a 7-figure earner inside of network marketing, it actually, weirdly enough, does apply. If you want to become a big earner inside of network marketing, because I'll tell you, the hardest working people that I see, and we coach a lot of people inside network marketing, the hardest working people that I see are the 6-figure earners. Because they're still running the meetings, they're still jetting around, they're still hammering calls, they're still doing lots and lots and lots of stuff. And it sounds weird, but if you want to become if you want to create freedom and become a real big earner, we've had clients that have teams of up to 700,000 people. Right now, I think we have 5 that have over 100,000 people in their team. If you want to become one of those people, you need to teach, and you need to become irrelevant. You need to become irrelevant for your team. And so it's not about you. It's about the system that you've helped, provide them with. It's about, sometimes you got to shuffle your feet so someone can take your place. And, that is tough for a lot of six-figure earners to do because they crave the limelight so much, and they don't want to shuffle their feet. They want to continue to be the person. So it just depends on what drives you. If impact drives you, if impacting as many, like that's what drives me, is impacting as many people as possible. That's what drives me every single day. And so what I've done in my mind is I've kind of linked in these things that say, Ray, you're slowing the impact of people around the world by thinking that way, so you need to change it. So even though I love being, main speaker, I love doing the things that I do, I've just trained myself that, okay, you're just limiting yourself. And one of my main mentors that I've been, he was actually the very first book I ever read on being an entrepreneur, believe it or not, in 2004. Russ Whitney, he built his company from 0 to 250 million a year, was serving 60,000 students in live classrooms every single month. He wasn't at any of them. So impacting a lot of people, and just thinking differently there. So for you to scale your network marketing business, it is about you can't get on the phone with one of your reps and spend 45 minutes answering a question that should be in a video. It's non-duplicatable, it's non-scalable. You will sabotage yourself from growing to a certain level. So you have to utilize resources, tools, events, and you got to be better to leverage, and it can't be about you. You got to make yourself irrelevant.
Fantastic, man. And that's really awesome. One final, well, real quick, somebody asked about the Russ Whitney book. What was it called?
So the one that I read in, it's funny, April of 2004, I read the book called Building Wealth, and it's pretty much, I haven't read it in that many years, but it's pretty much about real estate. So it's that's where I went from corporate America to real estate. April 2005, I left my job. So 1 year after reading, I had never read Think and Grow Rich. I had never read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I never read any of those books. I would just focus on my career because I'm kind of OCD about wherever I am. I want to be the best at it. And I read that first book. I'm like, whoa, there's like a different world out there. And so 1 year later, I left corporate America. So I definitely always gave him kudos and credence and gratitude.
So Ray, you're getting lots of love here, which is awesome. It's okay if you're not paying attention. You can go back later. One last question. Last question. Last question. You're kind of busy, teaching and stuff. Last question is, someone asked, how do you stay motivated? You managed to get a lot done, in the span of a day. I've seen you do it. I know you're a beast. How do you continue to stay motivated and consistent? And that's the final question.
Yeah, motivated and consistent. So, I would say if you're not consistent, then you haven't developed a vision of who you want to become. And in network marketing, in other places, they tend to call it your why, right? And I'm not a fan of that, although the way that Simon Sinek describes it, in my book, it's more vision than he's talking about why. Why is usually external and commercially digestible. So if I say I really want to help the kids in Kenya, or I want to spend more time with my spouse or family or child, or I'm going to retire my spouse, it's usually external, and it's usually commercially digestible, meaning whoever hears it says, oh man, way to go. And so unfortunately over the years, I've seen people that have had a why for, same why for 5 years. Is it really that compelling of a why, or what's going on? And what's actually going on is every time they tell someone their why, they get a payoff. And so they emotionally feel satiated, but they haven't accomplished it. And so I always suggest, craft a vision of who do you want to become. And one of my favorite quotes is Michael Beckwith, pain pushes you until a vision pulls you. A lot of times in my life, pain was pushing me around. Pain of not being accepted. Pain of, didn't have the greatest childhood. Pain of, not knowing, what was wrong with me when I lost it all in real estate, right? So self-worth issues, until a vision pulled me. So when I caught the vision of, here's a profession, a good, good sized profession that needs a lot of help. I mean, our profession, if you look at who feels so free to pick on our profession, think about that. We're a profession that can take people in any occupation and breathe hope into them, yet we're so openly attacked by anybody and everybody, and the public applauds it, right? And so I think, we have a profession that is so hurting, disjointed, not trained properly, not treated like business owners, not treated like adults, like you were saying, Ferny. And my vision is to impact this profession, and and that's why anything that conflicts with that. So what would conflict with it? What would conflict with it is if I wake up and I don't feel good, so I just decide not to do anything. My vision won't allow that. It just won't allow it. I don't have no production days. I may have low production days. There are definitely days where maybe I don't feel that good or don't want to do stuff. But I will always add value to the marketplace every single day. My heart's beating, because that is me fulfilling the vision of who I want to become, which is someone who drastically, impacts this profession as a whole, so that it is respected and that people do understand it's a profession and it doesn't need to be hyped or spammy or any of that kind of stuff. So, it's awareness of a daily routine. I've written probably 6 blog posts on my daily routine, and morning routine, evening routine, daily routine, all kinds of different things. And you can certainly, what I've noticed is the awareness of a good daily routine has no bearings on if someone will actually follow it. It's the vision of who they want to become that will dictate that action. So there's, the gray matter in my spine forces me to go into the marketplace and add value every day, consistently, without fail. And that's not something that that I need to keep reminding myself of. It's just what drives me. And I think it's what it has attracted different business relationships and different people into my life, is people that like people that play that kind of way. And anyone can play it. I started having this vision when I was dead broke and failed in a bunch of companies and was in personal foreclosure. So you can go from wherever you are to anywhere you want to go. Just ask yourself, who do you want to become? How do you want to be known? How do you want people to see you and view you? And what's gonna make you proud? What's going to what are you fired up about, and what's going to make you proud? What can, at the end of the day, can I look back and say, hey, what example am I setting for my 3 kids? And those are important things to me.
Awesome, man. That was perfect. I mean, you rock it every single day, man. Every day I'm impressed watching what you're doing. Not only impressed, a little bit of awe, because you have so much discipline in doing it, but I think you just kind of explained and summed up to people why you maintain that discipline and have maintained it over the past few years. So obviously, we've gone a little over, but obviously people love you, and people want to get the value, and there's lots of people here, so I don't want to disappoint. But moving forward, how do people connect with you? And I know you have something going on right now with your landmark course, 3-Minute Expert. I think is launching soon, but you got some free content on blogging and branding out there. How do people get a hold of you, and how do people get a hold of that content?
Yeah, I don't know if maybe someone can type it or something, but we do have a free video series that just launched this week, and you can check it out at the 3minuteexpert.com. It's the 3minuteexpert.com, and we have 2 of the 3 videos that are out right now. Video 1 it's really interesting, because I was blown away when I first heard this story, and it's about a drugstore out in South Dakota that was struggling, and they were looking for a marketing angle to get people in, and they used a very simple marketing angle to get people in the door, i.e. drive traffic. And it's something that now they're known all over the world. This little, why would someone in Russia know about a drugstore in South Dakota? Well, they do. They actually have signs over there and stuff. And so it's an interesting story. History buffs will love it. Marketing buffs will love it. That's video one. Video two, we know how people struggle with, they hear marketing information. Like one of my gifts is I can hear from an expert on underwater welding, and if they teach anything marketing, I can translate it to my world. But most people can't. And so I actually break down 5 very, very common niches or professions, if you want to call it that, and I give exact examples of how I would attract my perfect customer if I was in those niches. So, I talk about network marketing, real estate, travel, I believe, and there's a couple other ones that I talk about. Just giving exact examples of exactly what I would do, and that's video number 2. And both of those are available, no charge. You can watch them for free at the3minuteexpert.com. And as far as reaching out to me, we publish blogs almost every day at rayhigdon.com. We're huge fans of Elite Marketing Pro. I've been a part of Elite Marketing Pro since the very beginning of my career, and like Ferny said before, it was magnetic sponsoring. I just love the energy of the guys, of all the guys at Elite Marketing Pro. And so if you found this live video, just know you're in a good community. These guys are awesome, and just appreciate you guys having me on.
Thanks, brother. Really appreciate you, man. And we got, so I'm just gonna announce it now. We got you scheduled for next Wednesday, right?
Is it next Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Next Wednesday. So Ray is coming back. So if you guys didn't get all your questions answered, or you just didn't get enough of his handsome face, then you have another opportunity to do that next Wednesday here at Elite Marketing Pro, or you can get a lot more of Ray's training and his exact methodologies on how he built his business at the3minuteexpert.com. So with that said, we're a wrap, guys. So thanks a lot for coming. Again, if you want to learn the fundamentals of attraction marketing and building a brand and following online, the link in the description, 10-part video course on how to actually do that, generate leads passively as opposed to active prospecting, which is a different skill set. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for our next Daily Dose of Awesome. Take care, everybody. Have an awesome day. Thanks a lot, Ray. Really appreciate you.
Bye, guys.